Good morning. I have something wonderful I would like to share with you guys. For those of you that know me, probably know that I spent summers growing up in New Mexico and lived there for several years as an adult. For this last birthday, my mom bought me a subscription to the New Mexico magazine, and there is something so beautiful and important that I want to share with everyone. True Grit in Taos, a New Mexico exhibition wrangles the hidden histories of the Black Cowboys who shaped the modern West by Molly Boyle. Isn't that beautiful? Look at this. That is Bill Pickett. This photo was taken around 1910. And it says here, African-American and Cherokee rodeo pioneer Bill Pickett invented steer wrestling. I cannot pronounce this name. I apologize. This is Otis Kwame Kai. I'm not sure how to pronounce that last name. If someone can help me, it would be greatly appreciated. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So this is someone out on the plains cooking. And this is a cowboy lighting a cigarette. And this photo was taken in, it says anywhere, the cowboy cooking is from 1890 to 1910. And this was taken in 1908. Just fantastic. I'm going to try to read this article while I'm focusing on this picture. So it was said that he saw keenly through blizzards, that he'd studied the stars, that he was curious about archaeology and had an aptitude for buffalo hunting. The skill set had served the Crowfoot Ranch foreman well. But on a fateful summer day in 1908, he was just looking to fix a hole under a barbed wire fence. A flash flood had torn a gully through an arroyo of the dry Cimarron River. As he rode his horse through, scanning the newly shifted landscape, his sharp eyes picked out the bones of a giant prehistoric bison protruding from the creek bed. The man George McJunkin died in 1922, 4 years before his discovery of the Folsom site rocked the record books. His find proved that people whose projectile points were found in an excavation of an 8,000-year-old remains had roamed North America for much longer than previous believed. But the personal history of the ranch hand who set off the biggest archaeological revelation of the 20th century was ignored. What a shame. I mean, that's awful. For much of that same century, his other claim to fame as one of the most accomplished black cowboys in the West was mostly omitted from the historical record. Yeah, imagine that. According to Outriders' Legacy of the Black Cowboy, a new exhibition at the Harwood Museum of Art in Taos, historians now estimate that black cowboys accounted for 1 in 4 of the hands who roamed in the western frontier between 1866 and 1895. During the heyday of the Goodnight-loving Chisholm and the other cattle trails that ran through the heart of the Southwest, former slaves and their sons rode, roped, and rodeoed, helping to shape the cowboy archetype that the larger mythology of the West, the John Wayne one, that is. The stories told in Outriders via more than 24 historical photographs and several contemporary artist depictions of the black cowboy culture that endures are part of a wave of culture reckonings with this whitewashed realm of American history. That is fantastic. Here's 2 more photos. And this was taken in, what does that say? 1911. 1911. Roundup Pendleton. George Fletcher on hot foot, winning 2nd place in the bucket contest. And so This article goes on to say that Larry Calise, founder of the Black Cowboy Museum in Rosenberg, Texas, and consultant on outriders, takes issue with that 1 in 4 figure. He says the word cowboy comes from slaves. You had a houseboy, a yard boy, and somebody who worked the cows. He was called a cowboy. White wranglers were known as cow hands, he explained, since boy was a racialized term. If you saw 10 cowboys back in the 1800s, actually, all of them were black. They were the true cowboys. Black cowboy tales and aesthetics have been having more than a moment of late, from Lil Nas X 2019 mega hit Old Town Road to McJunkin's long overdue induction the same year into the Hall of Great Westerners at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in Oklahoma City. Calise hosted Jay-Z and Beyonce at his own museum a few years ago when the couple were researching black cowboys for Jay-Z's producer role on The Harder They Fall in 2021. Filmed in New Mexico, that Netflix film is loosely based on a real-life story of Nat Love, Bill Pickett, Bass Reeves, and stagecoach Mary Fields, notable black Westerners whose images and exploits are also featured in Outriders. In another recent movie, Concrete Cowboy in 2020, spotlights the urban horseback riding culture of Philadelphia, one of many seemingly unlikely pockets of the United States where the legacy of the first black equestrians lives on. In the contemporary section of Outriders, photographs by Kennedy Carter, Ivan B. McClellan, and Ron Tarver reveal thriving black riding on rodeo communities throughout the country. Here's some more pictures. This is Bill Pickett. Bass Reeves. And Courtney Solomon. And the article goes on to say that many cowboys were drawn to wrangler work because it allowed them to escape life-threatening situation in the Reconstruction era South, says Dial K. To find some level of freedom, they're reported to have been paid slightly better than their counterparts at home. Some of the exhibition's earliest photographs of the range life exude this relative relaxation. Subjects squint at the camera, strike a match for a smoke, and chow down on a chuck wagon supper. Black and white co-workers shared accommodations and even blankets on the trail. Then they would return to a town and experience that same level of violence and racism that they were fleeing from. So it was a much better lifestyle, they theorize, but certainly not one that escaped the American systems of prejudice. What a shame. So if you're in New Mexico and can get up to Taos, go see the exhibition. I hope everybody's having a great day. I just wanted to share that wonderful article and those beautiful pictures with you.